You are watching the #1 podcast in the whole entire wrestling community, and I'm one of your hosts, Juanzo.
And I'm your other host, Jean-Paul Leek.
Together we are Raw Break. How's every single one of you, family? We're live, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitch, all of our social media outlets. So, we're going to be talking about AEW Dynamite on a Saturday. They're doing this because, the NHL is back. Also, that's why they have to, give those shows. So, we knew that, this was going to happen. They're going to have another Dynamite next Saturday. So, that's going to be conflicted with Impact because they're going to have Bound for Glory. So, there you go. And, the wrestling companies are supposed to be friends, not really being friends.
I bet you Dynamite's already going to get more viewers than Bound for Glory.
Yeah, already, in the few viewers that they were going to get, already taking them out. So, thank you to every single one of you. Hey, we're the original Raw Break, and we're going to be talking about this show. I hope you guys enjoy this. And, Paul, a Dynamite that, on paper, maybe good, but, again, it's starting to get a little shaky here. Maybe it's a Saturday, maybe Rampage was live, so they had the back-to-back nights. But it wasn't a great show. I don't know. I didn't feel that special for me.
Some weeks, this show has proven that they can take the really good aspects of it, and they can mix it with the shit, and it comes out, and it's still pretty good. I feel like tonight was like oil and water. It just didn't mix. You had the good stuff was good, but the bad stuff was bad, and you couldn't really mix them together to be like, okay, this is kind of all right. I mean, some segments I liked, some I didn't. I don't know. This wasn't very good. Who pato? Sí, pato.
Hola, he said, hey, Dynamite Duo. Dynamite Duo. Yeah. So, the Duo Dinamita. Hey, Pato, ¿cómo estás? Saludos a toda la comunidad latina que nos ve. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I don't know. Like you said, the flows of this show accentuated a little more in this show. And I don't know, maybe back-to-back nights.
Because there was really only one match that I cared for, and that was the Bryan Danielson versus
Bobby Fish.
I was going to say on Rampage for Suzuki.
I
feel like, now obviously Bryan Danielson wrestled here in the main event, but I feel like that should have been a match you had on this card tonight. And then the Bobby Fish match you could have had, in a couple weeks or so. You didn't need to have that tonight. You should have did more to make this show, feel special than some of the segments we got. But overall, it definitely wasn't the worst Dynamite we've seen.
No, it wasn't the worst, but I guess we're used to now Dynamite's supposed to be the main show, supposed to be the top-notch show, supposed to be the most important show, and it's not really. It didn't do that. Maybe again, it's Saturday, other people are out. The ratings are not going to be the same, and also they say SmackDown went really down because FS1. It was 750,000, but Rampage was 550,000. So again, they're stealing from each other, and then Rampage is not Dynamite, so they're not really going at each other. I think both attempts failed for me. That's what I can just summarize it as. But welcome one more time. Don't forget to check if you want to check what we said on SmackDown. There you go. There's the review on it, and Roman Reigns is still down in Paul Heyman, especially when Brock Lesnar said, "Well, I checked the contract with my advocate Paul Heyman." So Paul, where is Paul going?
Exactly. From one Paul to another. I really think that they are just doing this to get the fans intrigued, because normally you would say, oh, Roman is going to hold it to WrestleMania, he's just going to run through everybody, and maybe you're still going to think that here, but at least you're going to think, hey, is Paul Heyman maybe going to leave Roman Reigns? Because Roman is good on his own, and if he is the Usos, the three of them, it still looks impressive. It still looks like he's the Universal Champion, whether Paul Heyman's there or not. So this is interesting to see. And, Thursday, we're going to be watching Crown Jewel.
Yes, exactly. We're going to be reviewing Crown Jewel. So, please be with us for that also. So don't forget SmackDown and then Crown Jewel for you guys' family. So like you said, let's talk about the first match that opened the AEW Dynamite. Dante Martin against Malachi Black. This guy's still the streak intact. It's good. It's still a good run as a heel. Not even a heel. You don't even know which way he's going. But it's pretty interesting how the way that they're portraying Aleister Black or Malachi Black. Dante Martin was another victim for me. The kid is getting a lot of buzz, getting a lot of opportunities with big names. He's not disappointing every single time that he's been doing this. And the match quality was really good.
Yeah, see, if that was anybody else besides Malachi Black, I'd have no problem with this. Dante Martin is so good. And, I think he's one of those guys who, it sucks his brother got hurt, but he's one of those guys who's making the absolute best of it. We're seeing, he's used in high-profile matches, one right like this, but this went too long. The match we saw with Jon Moxley later on in the night, that's about how long this thing should have went. This should have been boom, boom, boom. It should have been, Dante Martin maybe dodges a kick or two because he's fast. Maybe he hits one big drop kick. He hits some kind of move, but Aleister Black pops right up, dodges something, hits a black mass, 1, 2, 3, and wins it. It went way too long, way too competitive. Malachi, I almost called him Aleister Black. Malachi Black, he needs to be over. If he's going to be feuding with Cody again, and we're going to see that match, which they're teasing, this guy should be winning. He should be dominant. He shouldn't be, going at, 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes with kind of, mid-card guys. Unfortunately, I hate to say it about Dante Martin, but he is a mid-card guy. So, I that's really my only problem is the match went too long. But, obviously he won, Black Mass. But, I guess should we talk about the segment, that kind of didn't happen afterwards, but, went with this, with Lio Rush.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Let me just find the picture, but as I said, keep talking about it because there was Lio Rush was actually the manager. Mm-hmm. He's the one that is mentoring what is done to Martin. He said, he's not ready yet, but this kind of losses teach you more. Now he's going to be ready next time.
Yeah, and they pretty much said, he's like, listen. He's like, why didn't you listen to me? Kind of just like, you already see he's the cockiness, the bullshit Lio Rush. So, they're not taking any time, for Lio Rush to show his true colors here to Dante Martin. He's like, what you need to be back in a tag team again, and your new tag team partner is going to be me. And you see Dante Martin, the look on his face is like, what? So maybe his brother's going to come back soon. It's been a couple months. Maybe this is the story to reintroduce his brother to be like, no, I'm his only tag partner. And we're going to see something like that in the next couple weeks. I don't know, but, it's something to see where this goes. But to me, Lio Rush, it's how long till he retires again? I mean, to me, it's always a failed experiment. I don't know. I can't get into it.
It's difficult. I mean, I don't know how they can really get over Lio Rush. That's the thing is when he was Cruiserweight champion, it was a different thing. He's a great wrestler. I mean, as a Cruiserweight, great matches, great ability. Exciting. Fast, exciting matches, but I don't know, if you want to be the man of the hour, what he was for Bobby Lashley, I think it's going to be a really hard task that he was going to have to manage, but we'll see what happens. And, Kenny Omega with Luchasaurus, this is something also that is a little confusing, and not even, I don't want to say confusing, but misleading. He is feuding with Luchasaurus when he has already Adam Hangman Page with a contract for what is going to be Full Gear. So why don't you focus on Adam Hangman Page, rather you focus on Luchasaurus? And they said they went at it a little bit, and then the Young Bucks, the Elite, put him through a table. I think it was Jungle Boy or something like that. They still have this feud going on. I mean, it's okay, but again, why don't you focus on Adam Hangman Page when he's your number one contender?
Yeah, I mean, this is really all over the place. And then, we got the announcement of, there's a tournament to crown, a number one contender. And it's all over. It's like I said, it's just all over the place. And, but that's the booking we come to expect. Luchasaurus shouldn't be anywhere near the main event. Okay, he was in the tag match because of Christian and Jungle Boy, but that should have been it. If they want to attack Jungle Boy or they want to do something, I don't know, but why couldn't Omega just cut a promo on Hangman Adam Page, and that could have been the segment?
That's what I mean. It needs to be focused on Adam Hangman Page. It doesn't have to be focused, on Luchasaurus. That's my only thing. Is Kenny Omega, you're champion. What is the thing you do? You defend your belt. So you go after the guy that is coming after you. And you don't do that. And that's why it's a little misleading for me. But, let's go to Inner Circle, and then we got to see Santana and Ortiz. These guys defended. They came out to make the save, to rescue Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, and also Jake Hager from the match that they had yesterday at Rampage. We the All-American team. And Scorpio Sky had a really good showing. He got the win and all of that. But then Junior Dos Santos, all of the guys were attacking Jericho. But these guys made the save. So, of course, Miami, talking about the Hispanic heritage, all of that stuff. And then Jericho kept talking about, Dan Lambert, all of those things. I don't know how you feel about this, but for me, it's just an experiment that is not really paying its dividends. I mean, Junior Dos Santos is a former UFC champion, so I see him as that. If he wants to, he can beat all of those guys with, one little punch,
Yeah, and that's the truth, but that's not how they portray him. They portray him as soon as he steps into the world of WWE, it's a completely different world. His, shoot punches and shoot fighting skills and everything, they don't mean anything. But no, I mean, this segment to me was complete shit. And the final nail in the coffin was Jericho doesn't attack any of the guys. He attacks the female on the team. You know, like what kind of big, strong man, you know, attacks the female? He's like, oh, you're a whore. You know, you're just a bimbo on social media. Like what kind, whether that's true or not, what kind of man attacks a woman like that? He should be attacking all the other guys. So to me, Jericho's done. Like I know you still love the champion, but to me, like legit, like I said, fucking put it in a box, tape it shut, and fucking pack it away because it's done. You know,
I'll always will love him, but the main issue here is like again, he should be gone for a little bit.
And I mean, it's you know, this is just so bad, and I don't think anybody wants to see it. That's what I said. Like, you know, we see some good stuff on this show. You know, we haven't seen really too much of it yet, but you know, and Punk has been on commentary the whole night. We should just say, you know, he's been on commentary the whole show, and you know, but we've seen some. You know, this is just some of the really bad stuff that sticks out. That it's like, man, this is what brings this show down.
That feud is absolutely unnecessary. I mean, if you want to do something with Scorpio Sky, with Ethan Page, right? Just keep him keep your wrestlers. You know, you don't need to bring UFC. You don't need to do these mergings because it does not feel real because you know all those guys in the real world.
To me, let's see. Okay, Scorpio Sky is a babyface. He should still be with Frankie Kazarian. They should be. Hey, you made Christopher Daniels retire. You know, we're coming after you, Young Bucks. That can be a storyline where they, you know, feud with them. And then you should have the new TNT champion is a babyface, and Sammy Guevara. Ethan Page is a heel. Ethan Page can feud with him, and they can have
exactly. You keep your guys with like in wrestling because again, those guys, for example, UFC, you know that like those guys can like beat them in like seconds. If you don't believe us, ask CM Punk. What happened when we tried to make the transition?
And to me, when those two guys, Sky and Page, when they're like, yeah, we're legit, we're karate guys, we're shoot fighters. No, when we think of Ethan Page as a fighter, we think of him fighting himself, Mortal Kombat style and Impact, which, you know, was legit trash. So.
I agree. It was not a good showing for this. It's not interesting, but like, you know, let's move to the next one. And the next one happens to be Andrade. He was going to have partners of his choosing because the feud with the Lucha Bros continues, but this time it was for like the AAA championship, the tag team championship that they held. And, you know, these masked men at the beginning, they were like, of course, kind of like the conquistadors, you know, we didn't know who they were. They started
something like the frog men or the frog something, wasn't it?
Yeah, like, you know, like the masked man frog or whatever, but like really like earlier on in the match, they ended up being revealed as like FTR, which is what we wanted. Because we mentioned this, we should be fighting for these championships, not, you know, for the AEW, but I mean, at least for a championship. Yeah, and they gave us a good match.
And the one thing I want to say, I love how immediately CM Punk is like, are you kidding me? He's like, don't you guys know who this is? And the other three guys on commentary played completely stupid, like Michael Cole, you know, like how commentators do. They're like, oh, so... And then he's like, oh my God, this is FTR. He's like, are you guys kidding me? And then Shivani was like, I think I kind of see it. But the other two still played like stupid until the mask came off. But no, this is good. And, you know, I really enjoyed this match. Because this, you know, FTR is one of those teams where the Lucha Bros, they can still be exciting, but, you know, FTR keeps it grounded. Not, I mean, literally because they don't do any flips, but they keep it grounded in the sense where they still tell a story. It's not just a bunch of moves and nothing makes sense. FTR is like, you can do your moves, but we're going to do it in an order and in a way where it all makes sense and it all tells a story. And this was great. I mean, yeah, we saw Tully get involved. That was a little bit, you know, the running and everything. Yeah. But I mean, this was still good. They still won in a heel way, hitting them with the belts. You know, they hit their big finish. You know, 1, 2, 3. Well, I mean, I think it was just Dax. He hit like the big brain buster. You know, 1, 2, 3. Kind of how when they beat Santana and Ortiz when Dax won, when Cash got injured. You know, big brain buster, pins him. And this is good because now they can go to Mexico and they can get booed. Boo, fuck you, gringo, boo. And then you know what? Then they can drop them to the Lucha Bros or to another team, and it'll be a big baby face pop.
To another team that, like, they need it. You're right.
Exactly.
I like that.
This is good for AAA, you know, because FTR, they can come in there. They can say, you know, these are former WWE champs, former AEW champs. You know, these guys are badass. You know, this makes them feel legit. This was good. You know, and I like this segment, you know, backstage when he's like, oh, you know, you bite my boys for one night, okay, you know, let's party.
money, Poppy.
Yeah. I mean, this was all good. See, this was one of the things on the show where I'm like, you know, this was a good segment. You know, this was good use for Andrade because if you're not going to push him legit, I mean, at least do this with him. At least he's like working with guys who won, who have gold. So I don't know.
No, you're right. I
I feel like
absolutely agree.
Andrade is just a guy who's like just a failed experiment. It's like there was a curse put on him, and it's like you're only gonna do legit in NXT. Other than that, done.
It's the way that like they portray him, the way that like they make him out to be. You know, he came out with Vicky the first time, done. That completely like no answer of what happened with that. Then remember Chavo. They wanted to bring Ric Flair.
I feel like the problem, yeah, exactly, and it's like the black cloud above his head. And I feel the problem with Tony Khan is instead of going, man, this failed. Okay, let me really think about a good idea. Let me leave you off TV for a couple weeks, a couple months. He just throws the guy on TV, the following week, and he has a completely different gimmick.
Yes.
And it's like, it's so noticeable.
And the problem also is, like you said, there's way too many guys that are way above Andrade. Maybe not in quality. Maybe not in wrestling, ability or anything, but name value they are. Mm-hmm. So like that's a problem because he needs to fight on top of that. Maybe they wanted to give him that spotlight, but then you see Pong, you see Danielson, man, buddy, you gotta go back in the line, like you're not at that level yet. Even talking about him, he's gonna go against Pac one more time. They're gonna go for number 2. This is gonna be on Rampage, so it's probably gonna be live also, and it's gonna be next Friday. But aside of that, do we see Andrade being like an AEW champion? Probably not. Because like you said, like the promo is weak. Promo is weak as hell. Even Rey Mysterio cut like in an interview with Kurt Angle show, he said my worst asset is or my worst thing that I had to work on is promo. I couldn't cut a promo for it to save my life. It's true. In Andrade, in the type of guy that you're trying to be, like all suit, like you're really professional. Ability to talk, eloquence is one of the things that he needs.
Ric Flair would have got him over legit, but then
thank you to the dark side of the ring. Thank you, the plane ride from hell. Thank you so much because we're not going to get that.
Tommy Dreamer,
Hey, it is. Yeah, you're right. That idea was completely like canceled. So there you go. So let's talk about this one was 3 seconds, like you said. This should have been Malachi Black, Dante Martin all over again. John Moxley with Wheeler Yuta. This was 2 punches and then like what is like Dirty Deeds or the rope driver, the rope driver, all of that, or like all of that stuff. But in the end, quick. And John Moxley just left the ring. Is this maybe like he's gonna have a mini feud before Full Gear with Orange Cassidy, or like why is Cassidy there just to see him lose? I don't get that.
I mean, how are they in the brackets? Is it we're probably going to see Moxley, and to talk about that, like we said, there's going to be an eliminator tournament to determine a new number 1 contender, after the match at Full Gear. And, Moxley is on, obviously he's in it, and so is Orange Cassidy. And I think that they're going to be in the semifinals of that. So I think the winner of that, of the match between those two is going to be the one to go to Full Gear, to go to the finals of that tournament. So this is just their way to kind of, foreshadow it, because Tony Khan is the Booker of the Year, so he foreshadows everything.
And he is the most beloved rich man in the world. And that was another thing that they just came out. So you want to talk about the bracket? Seems like this was so quick. 3 seconds. Wheeler Yuta just got jobbed out thanks to John Moxley. There's the bracket for all of you guys. You got to see Dark Order 10 is going to go against Moxley. Cassidy, like you said, semifinals, Powerhouse Hobbs.
The only thing which sucks, and I'm sorry to cut you off, in which I didn't see it, is
you're good.
If Orange Cassidy really upsets Powerhouse Hobbs, that sucks. I mean, I would love to see Powerhouse Hobbs go to the finals and see him versus Bryan Danielson, because I think this is set up for Danielson to win the whole thing.
You're right. Because you see he's going to go against Dustin, so Danielson's going to go over.
But it
probably Eddie Kingston.
But I mean, or Lance Archer. I'd love to see Lance Archer versus Bryan Danielson too, or Kingston, either one. But I mean, we already saw the sheet from Tony Khan, his own hands, unless he changes it, which I highly doubt he will. But it was Moxley versus Bryan Danielson, booked at Full Gear, so they're on either side of the bracket. So there's a very high possibility that's going to be the finals. And if it is, I mean, it's 2 ex-WWE guys, but the one thing is, if anybody's going to bring Moxley to a good match, it's going to be Bryan Danielson. And 2, they're the 2 biggest names in that entire tournament. So
it's true, though. It's true. But at least the one thing we mentioned how shitty Crown Jewel is going to be, meaning when it comes to the tournaments. King of the Ring, really shitty, no name value. In the women's side, same thing. Mm-hmm. At least here, you have some name value, okay? So, enhance the tournament. Yeah. Instead of Finn Balor and Xavier Woods. Yeah, great. Yeah. I can't wait.
You have Kofi Kingston, Jinder Mahal, and Xavier Woods.
Yeah, that's all you need to know. So like exactly, and we have to compare because that's what you do. If you do the same thing, there's gonna be ways to compare and like, know who at least books it better. So let's move on to the next one. That's the Dark Order going against the Super Elite. This was another one, more of the same. Unfortunately, Adam Cole is gonna have a probably months till he can be on his own. It can be the same Adam Cole that we're used to be in NXT. Now he just belongs to a group that is have as big of his name or like even better, more, or for like some other people like the Young Bucks and all of that. I mean, just is a decent match, but you knew that like at any point given, the Dark Order was going to win. The Dark Order, even though like Brody Lee or anything, they were always brought as losers. The only thing good that they had was the promo work, or like the vignettes, or like all of those video packages. But like we got to see a little bit of Mick Foley. For some reason, Evil Luna put up the sock and does that. But for Jean Paul, he loves this. There you go. Somebody else kissing Adam Cole. It's not Britt Baker. It's not the Young Bucks. Now it's just also Alex Silver and the other guy. So
and Reynolds. Yeah, I mean, no, this is another thing way too long. They tried to put over the Dark Order, tried to get them over, and it's because of them that I don't think Hangman Adam Page is going to win the title from Omega. And why Hangman Adam Page, even though he got a big pop, and he's still one of my top guys here in AEW, he doesn't feel as legit because he was hanging around these losers. And for them to go this long with the Elite, I mean, just everything that happened, I didn't like it. This is another segment. It wasn't as insulting as the Jericho and America's Top Team segment, but I didn't like this. Too long against these guys. Adam Cole, I mean, he's definitely happier here. He's definitely having more fun because he's with his friends, he's with his girlfriend, fiance, whatever. But he was way more legit in NXT.
Oh yeah, well, because he was the leader, and like in this case, he's not the leader. But I mean, here I think out of the biggest thing to like that comes out of this is Jungle Boy, because you're just trying to put him over big time. And if he wins and he can beat Adam Cole or one of the Young Bucks or anything, that will be a good thing for the guy. Because I think that like they know that like outside of NJF and maybe Ricky Starks or one of those guys, Jungle Boy is going to be the main superstar that comes out of AEW, like AEW's own.
Yeah.
And that's why they keep doing these things, which is good. I mean, I think it's okay, but at some point he's going to have to beat him. So I don't know how, but he will.
Yeah, you're going to have to do something with Jungle Boy. You're going to have to solidify him in some kind of way. He hasn't held gold, no tag gold, no singles gold. We introduce a new title. I think the TBS Championship should have still been for the men. I know people said, do more for the women, do this and that. The women's division is still shit besides maybe 3 to 4 women matches.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, you might have a lot, but a lot of them are shit. You don't need 2 titles for the women. Should have went to the men. You could have did something good with this. But like you said, you got to do something with Jungle Boy, But even if he beats Adam Cole, where does he go from there?
Well, what does he do? Yeah, no, you need to go for translating to a championship. Yes, you're right, absolutely right on that. So we're gonna talk about Cody because they keep I guess trying to get him to come out of this suited Cody, like this professional guy, this corporate Cody, so to say, or business Cody or TV Cody. So he comes out late to one of the trainings that he does, and they start get slapped, all the members of the Nightmare Factory, they insult him, they're dude, you're not really legit anymore, you're not one of us anymore, so you're changing. And Arn Anderson is trying to get this version of Cody that is more sadistic, ready to fight, because like you said, next week on Saturday we're going to see this Malachi Black and Cody 3. He's gonna have to win. So unfortunately, Malachi is going to have to lose, and that sucks. They should have never done this before.
The only thing I'm going to say is, unless they're doing this and you think, okay, with us fans, the way we think, the way that Cody's been booked before, okay, yeah, Cody's going to win. Of course, like Jericho, you're going to win the last match. You're going to keep having rematch until you get your win. Then you're going to stop. Maybe he actually loses again here, and this is when Cody turns heel. Because, the way that the Road to the Top show, I think episode 3 is coming out tonight.
Yes.
People are absolutely hating this show. They're hating Cody. They're hating Brandy even more, which I didn't even think was humanly possible. But people do not like this show. So it don't matter what Cody does. There's no way he's going to be a babyface. And if he beats Malachi Black, who, even though I don't think he's being booked the most correct way, he's still really over. So if he would beat him, lots of boos. I don't know how you keep Cody as a babyface. I think you got to turn him.
No, you have to. No, like you said, is I agree with everything you said. And I agree also on the point with Brandy. I didn't think she was that obnoxious up to like still watching the first 5 minutes of that show right before we go on air because, well, man, that woman is really obnoxious.
There's no way. I didn't know it was going to be on like immediately. I thought I'd have a commercial break, maybe like a theme song or something. It was like, oh, this week on Rose to the Top, I had to scramble to quick change a channel.
It's one of those that, like, you know, you just dive to get like the remote control and change the channel. I agree with that. But they have to do something because either he's going to try to like go and be babyface beats black. But what do you do with Malachi then? You know, like that's the thing.
That's what I mean. I think
Malachi is like, to me, outside of Omega, outside of Danielson, outside of CM Punk, is like that's your star right there. You know, you have like the Undertaker feel like you need to just go with that. I don't know if they will be able to maintain. Cody can do this. We have paid in Cody. He can actually lose one more time. You know, he makes money regardless. He's had his time in the sun. He's got championships. There's nothing. You don't need Cody Rhodes on today's Dynamite. You don't. What he can do for you? Nothing. You know, going to Danielson, we've seen it before. That actually brings shades of like 2014 Stardust with Cody Rhodes. Who cares? CM Punk, same thing. So, have Cody out, have him, you know, just be backstage, creating new stars. When you think that you need him, bring him back. You know, same thing with Jericho. Have him out. You have enough star power to pull this off. You don't need him anymore. And that's why they end up being in these shitty storylines that like come out really forced. They're not creating anything. And Jericho goes from being all the champion to like, I get beat up by UFC stars. And Cody now is like, I have to have so many matches to win, right? If I don't win the third one, it will be the fourth one. And if not the fourth one, the fifth one. So, I don't know. It's not good. So, like, Paul, let's talk about Serena Deeb and Hikaru Shida. You said they're going to extend this feud. Probably Full Gear is going to be another one. They had a promo. Serena Deeb was talking. Hikaru Shida jumps her. Maybe a little bit of heelish tactics here, but it's good. This is more exciting than any feud that Britt Baker has ever had. And that sucks to say that because she's the champion.
I don't know. The one leading to like the lights out thing with Thunder Rosa was.
Well, yeah, that was. But you know, as champion, I meant. I still
think the Ruby Soho back and forth, like, oh, you only where you are because you sleep with people in the back. This is good, and Serena Deeb is a good talker, and you know, Shida, attacked her, and I don't know if you, maybe. It's just stupid. Backstage attacks are just so stupid. Why can't you let Serena Deeb get over? When have we ever heard her speak on television ever?
Yes.
The answer is never. We haven't.
Yes.
She got out 3 words. I didn't know what her voice sounded like. I'm like, because I don't remember from WWE TV. So you
gotta go back to the days of Gallows and Punk.
I'm like, let me hear her actually talk. And I do love that line when Punk said, "Oh, she has a great head of hair." That was legit. But
Punk is the
Yeah, but she got 2 words out and then got jumped. So to me, anytime you get jumped in the back like that, segment's dead. I'm looking forward to their next match, but.
No, like I said before, like match quality, and at least it's something that is better than because you see Britt Baker, feud here, feud there, because we're going to talk about her in just a little bit. But I'm looking forward, like you said, they had a good idea on this, so at least to extend and have a feud that is not the championship feud, but it's something that is to me equal. Serena Deeb and Hikaru Shida, both of them are in the same level, so it's going to be good. At least I like that. What I don't like is MJF. Now, I love the guy, but like he gets put in like also worse shit, calls out like Darby Allin, doesn't come out, gets the referee out. You gotta call him. Like, this is just bad also. Like, poor MJF. Again, he's gonna jump, he's gonna go to WWE. I really think that because, like, again, they're putting him in things that, like, he should be fighting for a championship. Unfortunately, Kenny Omega is the champion and he's heel, but like, this is just bad. Sting turns out to come out, and again, Sting at 65, he can beat Wardlow, buries him. Also like MJF's scared of Sting. All of that, and he leaves, comes out again, and then he leaves one more time. What do you think, Paul? I don't like this at all.
Everything MJF said was great. The promo was good. I don't know if he was talking to Shivani or some fat guy in the crowd, but he's like, I can't hear you over your 3 chins, you fat slob. MJF is just so good. Like you said, how did he not beat Jon Moxley and become the AEW World Champion how many months ago?
Yeah.
How did that not happen? How did he, he's another one of those guys who he's almost bulletproof. You almost, all you have to do is just literally give him wrestling trunks, boots, and a microphone and be like, go out there. and just,
and that's all you needed to do.
Yeah, but like they completely found every way to just ruin this guy. You have Sting come out there. See, if anything, he should have been running down Darby Allin. You should have died instead of your uncle. You're a loser. You said you're all dead inside. You should be all dead inside when you face me. Or you said you're half dead inside. Blah blah blah. Just go at him and attack him. Sting should have came out. You don't talk to him like that. You have Wardlow power bomb him or buckle bomb him to be like, haha, Seth Rollins, buckle bomb him, whatever, or do. I'm not
do something that is going to get heat.
Yeah, you should take Sting out. Sting should sell it. Oh my God, I'm done because I'm a 62-year-old fucking man. Not pop up like he's Superman, but be laying there dead and let MJF get heat. Because we saw Darby Allin get beat up last week, and he's like, oh, Darby Allin got beat up. I didn't know. He played dumb to it. So there was that. He should have beat up Sting here. This guy, he's not allowed to get 2 weeks of heat.
And that's the problem because you're ready.
Remember when they beat up the Inner Circle, and then the next week the Inner Circle came back and put his head in the toilet?
Yeah, no, and the problem is like you're already giving advantage to the babyface. So you should be the other way around. The heel needs to have the advantage, but and again, Sting. As many as you love Sting, it's fine. I mean, I'm not on hate on the guy. Maybe I dislike him, but it's like he's 62. He should be like Tully. Like he shows up, gets whacked, and that's it.
I mean, yeah, and I'm not saying Sting needs to come out there and look like a sad loser, but can we put the young guy MJF over?
Can we got the young guy over? Can we Sting is immortal? Not even Taker did that. Maybe at times he would, but not like that, natural.
But Taker didn't do that when he was this immobile.
Yeah, exactly.
Bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. So that's
well,
just bad.
Maybe the Bray Wyatt.
I mean, the Wyatt, they should have been. He should have never fought up to WrestleMania, but that talking about Taker is like an episode of a road break, uncensored or whatever. But we will talk about that when the time is right. But let's talk about Bray Baker because Anna Jay, they're gonna get feud. There's no reason for that. We need a women's champion to just have a match. So they're starting to talk about, hey, you guys are losers, like they always do. It's they're not losers. Oh no, they're my friends. They're well, they lost, you guys are losers. They go at it. So what does that mean, Paul? That on Rampage there's going to be a AEW Women's Championship with no build. It's just, hey, we need a championship match. It's going to be live. So WWE is going to go against us. So we got to do it like that. And in the end, Britt Baker is going to win. Thank you, Anna Jay. You're hot. Hey, have a good day.
Yeah, I mean, Anna Jay is one of the women who is actually, I feel like, improving, and she's legit, but it's the Hangman Adam Page syndrome. You're stuck with the Dark Order, so it brings you down and makes you look like a loser. She's like the hot girl who feels bad for these bunch of virgin nerds, so she hangs out with them. She's never going to sleep with any of them, but she'll hang out with them, and be their friend. But
Jungle Boy, she has that for Jungle is right there for her.
Yeah, well, Jungle Boy's not in the Dark Order now, is he? But no, I mean, no, the match is good, but like you said, no build. So why should I care? You have 1 week of build,
and he's gonna win, and Britt Baker's gonna go over. So again, no reason. It's just hey, we're fighting against WWE. That's the main reason. Because you could have given it like this: Kiera Hogan against Penelope Ford. I mean, Kiera Hogan is actually is not a bad wrestler. She's a pretty damn good wrestler, but unfortunately, she's paying her dues. That's what I think it is. She has to pay their dues. She has to just let other people all the girls in the AEW division just go over her just so they have feuds and stuff. But I feel that maybe in a month or two, she's going to start getting some wins. Penelope went over with that submission hold that she has. She made her tap out. But then Ruby Soho came out because yesterday on Rampage, then the other thing around happened. Ruby won a match against the Bunny. And then Penelope came out, so there's a mini feud right here. So you see Bonnie and also Penelope are aligned, and they're gonna go probably against Ruby, and also maybe Kiera Hogan or maybe Tay Conti. All of them will show up. There's something interesting, I guess, in the women's division. All these girls have the talent. They're developing themselves, but aside of the title picture, Serena Deeb and Hikaru Shida. I believe that's more interesting and more professional wrestling At least for my taste.
I mean, it really sucks that it's, you had Ruby Soho who had this debuted, okay, legit, and then immediately is in a feud with these losers. Yep. Kiera Hogan feuding with Penelope Ford, it's fine. That's two women that are at the bottom of the card in the women's division feuding with each other, okay. The Bunny, to me, she sucks. She should be at the bottom of the card. But now Ruby Soho's there. You can't do Ruby Soho versus Thunder Rosa, or Ruby Soho versus a Nyla Rose, or
Jade.
Or Jade. You can't do, you can't give me something like that, or that's what I mean. I mean, so this this is just dumb. I
It's
really
not good,
don't
yes.
care. So
Yeah, exactly. So like, no, let's go to something that you do care, because this guy has been portrayed like really, really solid. The push has been really great up to like the night that he lost to Sammy Guevara, and now Sammy Guevara is involved in the All-American team. So why will you make him drop the title to the? Why will he drop the title? Tell me a little about this promo that he did.
Yeah.
Really good, doing his best promo and also his best work ever as a wrestler.
Yeah, I mean, this promo was great by Miro to just comment on what you said quick. I mean, I agree. There's no reason Miro should have dropped the belt, especially whether you have Sammy Guevara with the top team feud with the Inner Circle or not. Miro was on such a roll. And he wasn't stale. I feel people were still reacting to him. Especially you kept going. The crowds were so hot at every show. Especially, they weren't booing Miro. They weren't falling asleep during his matches. So there's no reason to take the belt off him. And I love all the lines he said in here. He's like, why would you give me a body of stone and a neck made of sand? Why'd you make me bullshit? And, he's like, all I did was worship you. I was your champion. And he's like, you took the belt away from me. He's like, but you know what? He's like, I'm going to get it back. He's like, I'm going to be your champion again. And he's like, and if you don't make me your champion, he's like, you'll make me your enemy. So, I don't know, is he Vince McMahon? Is he going to have a feud with God? I don't know what's going on here.
And then we just see the white light going through it.
I mean, maybe he's going to go after, he wasn't in the Eliminator tournament, was he?
No.
Yeah, so he wasn't in that. So maybe he's going to win it back from Sammy. You know what? Maybe Tony Khan actually, he went online and he saw the people going, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah, we like Sammy. He's legit, but it's not his time. He might say, you know what? Give it right back to him.
Yeah, and because it makes sense. When you have a guy that is that solid, just let him go with the title. Sammy didn't need to be the champion if you're going to be involved with American team. Wait till Sammy's done with that. Okay, yeah, maybe let's do it for Full Gear. You want to even meant more because at least it's a big event. That's where you're dropping the title, all of that. Yeah. So let's go talk about the guy that actually is in the main event of that Full Gear event, but he's not going to win it. It seems that way. He should have, but I don't think they have enough faith in him because you said everything is panning out to be for from Bryan Danielson, Hangman Page. He got a really good promo. I like that because he was just saying, hey, he mentioned the whole thing. I was supposed to be champion. I was supposed to go to that main event. Didn't happen to be like that. I lost all my friends, but I developed cowboy shit, got new friends, and now I have a baby, and there's more cowboy shit, and probably that baby shits every day, so there's a lot of cowboy shit. So yeah, I like that, and he said he's gonna give his best to become the new AEW champion, Paul. Do we believe him? Yes. Can it happen? Yes. Will it happen? That's yet to be determined.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different ways you could do this. And see, I was thinking, if MJF was on if MJF would have beat Jericho a couple months ago and just been on a roll and just been beating everybody, maybe Hangman wins the title from Omega, and Hangman only holds it for a little bit, and he's like Johnny Gargano syndrome, and his first title defense is MJF, and he loses it. You play hot potato there, but it just wasn't his time. MJF's hotter, the belt's better on a heel. I really don't know, or does Hangman not drop it, and does it stay on? Not take it. Then does it stay on Omega? And does Omega drop it to Bryan Danielson? I don't know. I feel like it should go on an AEW guy sooner rather than later. You don't want to just give it to all the WWE guys. But does Hangman have the momentum, and is it his time? And will the people react to it? I don't know. Or like you said, Miro. We kept saying Miro's going after a belt. Does he go after any of this? I really don't know. I still think it's going to be Omega and Danielson. But that sucks. I hope they don't make it a triple threat, and we see something like that. I really don't know.
I've seen memes already. You see Daniel Bryan, did somebody say triple threat? But hopefully that's not what happens because Hangman deserves it. Again, he was in the match with Jericho for that title. He needs to be the champion. I think that moment is now. He came back. That's why you make him win that damn thing. Yeah, but look, because you should also give credibility to people that win that ladder match.
Scorpio Sky won the one for the poker chip and didn't win the belt. So we've seen people win, and it doesn't mean shit. And
you should though. Because at least you're okay, maybe this is the next guy that they have in mind.
And Brian Cage won and didn't mean shit.
Oh well, Brian Cage is a different story. The poor guy, he gets jobbed out. It's just go back to Impact. Or another one that could use. You said that one will be your first guy to go to WWE. That was your pick. My pick is MJF. But like, we'll see what happens. But both of them very likely when their contract expire to make that switch. So it's don't think that like the grass is greener for all those people in AEW. But like, like you said, the next week we're gonna see this. So like we're already commanded on this. But like, hopefully Cody, just do us a favor. Do one favor. Can you do a job? Right? Can you do a job? So there you go, Paul. Main event time, like you said, very technical match. Two technicians, maybe not when it comes to like, let's say intensity in the ring or like drama. Let's say like get a reaction from the crowd. Maybe not much, because again, these two are more technicians. They don't have the ability to get words out of all the people. Maybe at This Is Awesome chant after maybe an hour. But I mean, I feel that like regardless of all of that, and they don't have a backup story, it's really hard to put him in the main event. Yet they did it. Bryan Danielson with Bobby Fish, and you said you like this because you're a fan of pro wrestling. Big words for a lot of people. No casuals anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I like this match a lot. But the way that you hyped, and this is in no offense to Bobby Fish. I mean, he's probably like, oh yeah, I heard this shit my whole career, Jean Paul. Fuck you. But this should have been the one that should have been on Rampage.
Okay.
And the Minoru Suzuki one should have been here. Because that one that they had the story, they said, when he first went against Suzuki beat the shit out of him. But now Bryan Danielson's like, I've trained, I've wrestled, hundreds of thousands of matches since then, blah, blah, blah. You had the story there, and the match was longer and it felt more like a big fight match. This was a really technical match. Both guys are fantastic. We just saw Bobby Fish get a win on Rampage. Okay, his record's 1-1. Okay, boom. Now, and he loses his other match. So it's like, anytime he goes against a guy who is like a name on the card, Sammy Guevara, Bryan Danielson, he can't win it. So, I don't know how good. I mean, Bobby Fish is putting on great matches, but he's still losing them. And to me, this was such a weird main event. There was no really match on this entire show that felt main event. Like there was nothing. That's why this match this felt weird. Like at least Suzuki, he feels like a main event because he's an attraction. He's not going to be on the show each and every week. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't have anything bad to say about it. Besides, it didn't really feel like a main event. Obviously, Bryan Danielson wasn't going to lose here. But then I guess this wasn't really the main event because after this match, when Bryan Danielson, he won, legit. They showed the bracket and they're like, who's it going to be? Who's going to win? And the final at Full Gear and everything. And we already commented on that. It's going to be Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson against
John Moxley. That's what like Tony Khan revealed in that like the papers that he had, and he got a few more matches right there. Yeah. But like you said, it's the only thing is like that it wasn't main event. And also like if you're Minoru Suzuki, you keep having matches where you keep losing. Is that like how you really want to be, pushing America?
Well, I mean, I think he's what we said earlier. He's the old guy who's I'm going to put guys over.
Yeah, I'm going to put every guy over.
I mean, at least that match he looked legit.
Yeah, it's exactly like now he's going to go to Impact too. So he's going to put over like guys like a Christian Cage. He's going to put over Joseph Alexander.
Well, he's going to go against what's his name? Probably Eddie Edwards, because Eddie Edwards like a Japanese born.
Yeah, he's going to go one of those guys. But like you said, the only thing is like the main event. They needs to feel main event. It should have been something with like that. Maybe Hangman Page going against a guy. Or Hangman Page cutting the promo and maybe Omega comes out and it's something, that he tells me, okay, this is brewing. Yeah. Rather than this, Daniel Bryanson, and Bryan Danielson and Bobby Fish. I mean, like you said, I gotta agree with you. Bobby Fish is great, but he doesn't feel main event. Then have Adam Cole come out. Okay, dude, come here. Remember, group, Undisputed Era, tag team, that's it. Right? We go back to the old way. But it's a new company. No, old way. All right? Undisputed Era, Super Elite. Super Elite. So that's the only thing you gotta do. No more Bobby Fish. Yeah, that's what we have. But family, this is just the AEW Dynamite review. Thank you so very much. Before I leave, I want to ask Paul. We saw Rampage, we saw SmackDown, we saw Dynamite. Who's putting the best wrestling right now, in your opinion? WWE with SmackDown or AEW 2 shows?
I mean, that's tough to say. I mean, I guess AEW, because at least, they have more to fall back on than one guy. To me, if you're just saying SmackDown, because Raw is pretty much awful
No,
hours.
nobody even counts.
I mean, the only thing is just Roman Reigns. That's really the only saving grace. But at least here you have Bryan Danielson. Some people like Omega, some people don't. But it's like Malachi Black is good. We like FTR.
Hangman.
We like Miro. We like Hangman. There's at least people we like. Like I said, CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, Darby Allin. Sting maybe not, but there's MJF. There's guys we like. So. I mean, I think really AEW, I'm not saying that they're the better company or anything, but I think that they're, the more enjoyable show right now.
Nose to nose, right? Yeah, nose to nose. Maybe the little itch is like AEW. So family, one more time, thank you so very much. Don't forget to subscribe. Help us out to keep growing. We have more content coming next week. It's going to be packed. And not packed the guy with against Andrade. No. Because it's going to be also like Bound for Glory. We have like Dynamite, Rampage. There's so many shows. And Crown Jewel on Thursday. So Jean Paul and I are going to be doing... I don't know if we're doing double duty yet. Because I don't know if there's going to be NXT UK. Let's make that extensive to everybody. But Crown Jewel regardless. So we're going to see a lot of good matches there. But of course, just because a lot of green has to be in the middle so they can have those matches. So family, thank you one more time. And don't forget to subscribe. And where else can they find us in the social media world?
And guys, make sure you follow us, Rope Break on Facebook, OG Rope Break on Twitter, Original Rope Break on Instagram, Twitch, and TikTok, and of course right here on YouTube, the home of the #1 podcast in the YouTube wrestling community, the Original Rope Break.
And you and me have one more thing that is left to say, and that is...